Right now, there are things in your life that no longer feel the same. Things that once made you feel relaxed now feel empty. Places that once distracted you no longer silence your thoughts. You sit there, doing the same things you used to do, but something inside you refuses to feel at peace. You cannot explain it. Nothing on the outside may have changed, but on the inside, everything feels different. This is not accidental. This is Allah loosening your attachment to what cannot carry your soul forward, because Allah knows what you do not see. He knows when something has become too small for the future. He is preparing for you. He knows when certain comforts are no longer helping you grow, but quietly keeping you spiritually asleep. And when Allah wants to raise a soul, He does not begin by adding more comfort. He begins by removing false comfort, not to hurt you, but to wake you, because comfort can sometimes be the very thing that keeps you distant from Him. When everything feels easy, you stop seeking. When everything feels familiar, you stop changing. So Allah allows discomfort to enter your heart, not as punishment, but as permission. Permission to outgrow the version of you that was living without awareness. Permission to stop settling for what weakens your connection with Him. Permission to rise. What feels like loss is actually release. Allah is not taking something valuable from you. He is removing what was quietly preventing you from becoming stronger. He is removing what was anchoring your soul to a lower level, because Allah sees who you are capable of becoming, even when you do not see it yourself. And this discomfort you feel right now is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It is a sign that Allah is guiding you away from what cannot grow with you and toward what will bring you closer to Him. Allah is letting you see your own weakness because He is preparing to strengthen you. There was a time when you did not look at yourself this deeply. You lived your days without questioning the condition of your heart. You prayed, but you did not always notice where your focus went. You made mistakes, but you moved on quickly without fully reflecting on them. You assumed you were fine. You assumed your relationship with Allah was stable enough. But now, something has changed. Now you notice everything. You notice how easily your mind drifts during prayer. You notice how quickly your motivation rises and falls. You notice the gap between the person you are and the person you want to become. And sometimes this awareness hurts. Sometimes you feel disappointed in yourself. Sometimes you wonder why you are suddenly seeing your flaws so clearly. But understand this carefully. This is not Allah exposing you to humiliate you. This is Allah exposing you to heal you, because you cannot repair what you refuse to acknowledge, and Allah does not open a servant's eyes to their weakness unless He intends to guide them toward strength. Before elevation comes awareness. Before purification comes exposure, because the most dangerous state is not weakness. The most dangerous state is blindness to your weakness, but Allah is no longer allowing you to live in that blindness. He is allowing you to see yourself honestly, not so you lose hope, but so you turn back to Him with sincerity, because the moment you become aware of your need for Allah is the moment your real strength begins. And this awareness you feel right now is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that Allah is preparing you to rise with humility, sincerity, and truth. Allah is creating distance in your life because your soul is being called elsewhere. There are people you once felt naturally connected to, conversations that once felt easy, moments that once felt normal, but now something feels different. You sit with the same people, but your heart feels quieter. You listen to the same conversations, but your soul no longer feels present. It is not hatred. It is not rejection. It is something deeper than that. It is distance that you did not choose, but you can feel. And this distance can feel painful, because as human beings, We are not designed to enjoy separation. We are designed to belong. We are designed to feel understood. So when distance appears, it can make you feel alone. It can make you question what is happening to your life. But understand what Allah is doing. Allah is redirecting your heart, because not every environment you once belonged in is meant to carry you into your next stage. Not every connection from your past is meant to exist in your future. Because if Allah allowed you to remain fully attached to everything behind you, you would never fully step into what is ahead of you. So He creates distance, not always by removing people physically, but by changing you internally, by changing what your heart feels comfortable with, by changing what your soul accepts. This is not cruelty. This is protection, because Allah knows that who you walk with influences who you become. And Allah is protecting the person you are becoming, even if you do not fully understand it yet. This distance is not proof that you are being abandoned. It is proof that you are being guided away from what cannot grow with you, and guided toward a closer relationship with Allah, where you will never truly be alone. Allah is making this world feel small in your heart, because He is preparing you for something greater. There is a feeling inside you now that did not exist before, a quiet restlessness, a feeling that something is missing. Even when everything seems normal, you may still have the same life, the same routines, the same responsibilities, but the satisfaction you once felt is no longer the same. Things that once excited you now feel temporary. Things you once chased no longer feel worth chasing. You begin to realize how quickly everything in this world fades. Moments pass, feelings change, people change, nothing stays the way it was. And this realization makes your heart feel different. You begin to think more about your purpose. You begin to think more about your akhirah. You begin to see dunya for what it truly is. Temporary, fragile, limited. This is not sadness. This is clarity. Because when Allah wants to bring a servant closer to Him, He changes how their heart sees this world. He removes the illusion that dunya can fully satisfy you. He allows you to see its limits, so you stop expecting from it what only Allah can give. Because dunya was never meant to complete you. It was meant to test you. And when your heart begins to outgrow dunya, it means your soul is expanding. It means your priorities are shifting. It means your heart is being prepared for something more permanent, more real, more meaningful. Allah is not making your heart empty. He is making space. Space for sincerity. Space for dependence on Him. Space for a deeper connection with what truly lasts. And this restlessness you feel is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that your soul is waking up to what truly matters. Allah is drawing you into private moments with Him because He is preparing to change you. There are moments now when you feel pulled toward Allah without anyone telling you to. Moments when you sit alone and suddenly your heart wants to speak to Him. Moments when you feel the urge to make dua, even without a specific reason. Moments when you think about your life, your mistakes, your future, and you feel the need to turn back to Him. This does not come from pressure. This does not come from people. This comes from something deeper. It comes from Allah inviting you back, because Allah does not guide every heart in the same way. There are hearts that remain distracted for years, hearts that do not feel the need to return, hearts that do not feel the urgency to change. But your heart is being called. Slowly, gently, privately. You may find yourself remembering Allah more often. You may find yourself wanting to improve, even if no one knows. You may find yourself feeling regret for things that once did not bother you. This is not weakness. This is life returning to your heart. Because a heart that feels nothing is far, but a heart that feels the need to return is being guided. These private moments are sacred because they are sincere. No audience, no praise, no performance, just you and Allah. And it is in these private moments that real transformation begins, because Allah changes you from the inside first, before anyone else sees it, before your life reflects it. He changes your heart. And when your heart changes, everything else begins to follow. This pull you feel toward Him is not random. It is Allah preparing you to become someone closer to Him than you have ever been before. Allah is testing your heart in silence because He is preparing you for a higher position. There are battles you are fighting right now that no one else can see. Battles inside your heart. Moments where you must choose between what is easy and what is right. Moments where your nafs pulls you in one direction, but your soul pulls you in another. And no one would know if you chose the easier path. No one would see. No one would question you. But Allah sees. He sees the moment you stop yourself. He sees the moment you remain patient, even when you are tired. He sees the moment you choose obedience, even when it is difficult. These moments may feel small to you, but they are not small to Allah, because elevation is not built in public. It is built in private. It is built in the silent decisions no one applauds. It is built in the moments where you prove your sincerity without expecting recognition. Sometimes you may wonder why Allah is testing you in ways that feel heavy, why He allows you to struggle internally, why He allows you to feel this pressure. But understand this truth. Allah does not trust higher spiritual levels to untested hearts, because elevation is a responsibility, and responsibility requires strength. So Allah tests your consistency. He tests your patience. He tests whether you still turn to Him, even when you feel weak. He tests whether you still choose Him, even when your nafs resists. Not to break you, but to strengthen you. Every moment you remain sincere, even in silence. Your rank is rising, even if you cannot see it yet, because Allah is watching the version of you that no one else sees, and He is preparing that version of you for something greater. Allah is rebuilding you into someone your old life was never meant to contain. You may have noticed that you are no longer the same person you used to be. Your thoughts are different. Your priorities are changing. Your heart reacts differently to things that once controlled you. Things you once loved no longer have the same hold over you. Things you once ignored now matter deeply to you. And sometimes this change can feel uncomfortable, because growth often feels like loss before it feels like strength. You may feel like parts of your old identity are disappearing, parts of your old habits, parts of your old mindset, parts of the person you once believed yourself to be. And this can make you feel unfamiliar with yourself. But this is not destruction. This is reconstruction. Allah is not removing parts of you to leave you empty. He is removing parts of you that were limiting your spiritual growth. He is removing what was keeping you tied to a lower version of yourself, because the person you are becoming cannot live the same way you used to live, cannot think the same way you used to think, cannot remain attached to the same things you used to depend on. Allah is rebuilding your heart with greater awareness, greater sincerity, greater strength. Even if the process feels slow, even if the process feels uncomfortable, because Allah sees the future version of you. Even when you only see the present version, He knows who you are capable of becoming, and He is guiding you, step by step, away from who you were and toward who you are meant to be. You are not losing yourself. You are becoming someone your old life was never strong enough to hold, and Allah is the one rebuilding you with care, with wisdom, and with love. Allah is making you feel lost so you can finally find your way back to Him. There may be moments right now where you feel unsure about your life, unsure about your direction, unsure about who you are becoming. You may feel like the clarity you once had is no longer there. Plans you once depended on no longer feel certain. The path ahead may feel unfamiliar. And this feeling can be frightening, because as human beings, we crave certainty. We crave stability. We crave the feeling of knowing exactly where we are going. But sometimes, Allah removes that certainty, not to leave you lost, but to detach you from relying on anything other than Him. Because when you believed you were in control, you relied on yourself. When you believed your plans were secure, you relied on your plans. When everything felt predictable, you relied on what was created. But Allah wants your heart to rely on the Creator, so He allows you to feel unsure. He allows you to feel weak. He allows you to feel like you do not have control, so you remember the truth you were always meant to live with, that you were never in control. Allah was, Allah is, and Allah always will be. This feeling of being lost is not the end of your story. It is the end of your illusion of independence. Because when a servant stops relying on themselves completely, they finally begin to rely on Allah completely. And that is where true strength begins. That is where true peace begins. Because guidance does not begin when you feel strong. Guidance begins when you realize how much you need Allah. And if you feel lost right now, it is not because Allah has abandoned you. It is because Allah is teaching your heart to seek Him in a way it never has before. Because sometimes Allah lets you feel lost in the dunya so you can finally be found by Him. And the moment you begin to rely on Him fully is the moment your soul begins to reach the level it was always meant to reach.